Imagine you are an American soldier in 1965, trapped in the dark, brutal, and unforgiving jungles of Vietnam. The heat is absolutely unbearable, suffocating your every breath. The tropical rain never seems to stop, and the thick black mud is constantly up to your knees. But the absolute worst part: the enemy is everywhere, yet nowhere at the very same time. They pop out of completely hidden holes in the ground, fire a deadly sequence of shots, and vanish into thin air before you can even raise your weapon. They set up brutal, invisible traps made of sharpened bamboo and hidden explosives that tear your entire squad apart in seconds. Their jungle warfare tactics are so brilliant, so systematic, and so utterly ruthless that the world's most powerful military superpower is left completely clueless and terrified. You look at your wounded comrades, you look at your desperate commanders, and you ask yourself a simple question: how on earth did these local guerrilla fighters become so incredibly good at this? Well, get ready, because here is the most shocking, mind-blowing, and disturbing twist in modern military history. The advanced weapons, the elite sniper skills, and the exact jungle camouflage tactics used to crush American troops were actually taught to them by the United States itself. Yes, you heard that completely right. Washington literally built, funded, and trained its own worst nightmare. This wasn't just a tactical failure, it was a fatal paradox that cost tens of thousands of lives. Let's look deep into the archives to see how this crazy story actually began. To truly understand how this massive historical mistake happened, we need to jump into a time machine and go back to the year 1940, during the height of World War II. At this specific time, Vietnam wasn't even an independent country on the map. It was a colonized territory controlled strictly by France, known as French Indochina. But out of nowhere, the brutal and aggressive Empire of Japan marched in with massive tanks, heavy artillery, and thousands of soldiers, taking over everything. And let me tell you, the Japanese occupation was a total, real-life horror film. They grabbed all the local rice supplies to feed their own army, ruined the entire local economy, and triggered a catastrophic, artificial famine that killed over 1 million innocent Vietnamese people. Parents were forced to watch their own children literally starve to death on the muddy streets. Out of this absolute dark hell, a frail, skinny, and highly intelligent man stepped out of the shadows. His name was Ho Chi Minh. He couldn't stand watching his country suffer and bleed anymore, so he formed a secret rebel resistance group called the Viet Minh. Their ultimate goal was simple: kick the Japanese occupiers out of their land at all costs. But they faced a mountain of impossible problems. They had no modern weapons, no money, no proper military boots, and absolutely zero combat experience. They were basically simple farmers trying to fight samurai swords, heavy machine guns, and professional war machines. They were desperate for a miracle. Until a surprise ally literally dropped from the stormy clouds. Enter the United States of America. In early 1945, Washington was desperately searching for a tactical way to destroy Japanese intelligence operations, blow up train tracks, and disrupt supply lines inside Axis-controlled Asia. The OSS, which was America's top-secret spy agency before the CIA was even created, managed to make direct contact with Ho Chi Minh deep in his hidden jungle cave. To the American politicians and generals back home, Ho Chi Minh wasn't a communist enemy yet. He was just a highly motivated local leader who hated the Japanese Empire just as much as they did. So, in July 1945, the American government launched a highly classified, top-secret mission codenamed the Deer Team. A group of elite American special forces and weapons experts parachuted straight into the foggy, dangerous, and dense jungle headquarters of the rebels. They didn't come empty-handed. They brought massive wooden crates filled with state-of-the-art American weapons: M1, carbine rifles, heavy machine guns, thousands of hand grenades, and advanced radio communication equipment. But right after the Americans landed, a massive crisis threatened to end the mission. Ho Chi Minh fell deathly ill with severe malaria and terrible tropical diseases. He was shivering, unconscious, and literally hours away from dying in the dirt. The American team leader immediately ordered his personal military medic, a highly skilled man named Paul Hoagland, to treat the dying leader. The American medic gave Ho Chi Minh modern, life-saving American drugs, kept him warm, and carefully nursed him back to health over several intense days. Think about that for a second. America literally saved the life of the exact man who would later become their greatest and most painful historical enemy. Once Ho Chi Minh fully recovered, the real, brutal training began deep in the woods. For weeks under the thick jungle canopy, American elite officers lived side by side with the Vietnamese rebels, sharing food and survival stories. They personally taught these local farmers how to shoot with absolute sniper precision, how to manufacture highly effective homemade explosives, how to mathematically blow up critical steel bridges, and how to set up the perfect, devastating jungle ambush. The American soldiers were absolutely amazed at how fast, quiet, and disciplined the Vietnamese fighters were. Without knowing it, the United States was crafting the ultimate guerrilla fighting machine. On September 2, 1945, Japan officially surrendered after the atomic bombs fell, and World War II came to an end. Ho Chi Minh stood proudly before a massive crowd of hundreds of thousands of cheering people in the city of Hanoi to declare Vietnam a completely free and independent nation. And this is by far the weirdest, most ironic part of the entire story. Ho Chi Minh looked at the American OSS officers standing right next to him on the main stage, smiled at them warmly, and began his historic independence speech by quoting the American Declaration of Independence word for word. All men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He truly respected America. In the months that followed, he even wrote multiple emotional handwritten letters to the United States President, begging for a permanent diplomatic friendship, trade agreements, and a strong alliance. But Washington did something that changed the entire course of human history forever. They completely ghosted him. They never sent a single reply. Why did America turn its back so cold-heartedly on its loyal jungle friend? Because the global war was over and France was aggressively demanding their old colony, Vietnam, back. America wanted to keep France happy as a strategic ally in Europe to build a front against the rising power of the Soviet Union. So, Washington made a political choice. They completely abandoned Ho Chi Minh and started sending billions of dollars to fund the French military invasion of Vietnam instead. Ho Chi Minh felt completely betrayed, lied to, and broken. He realized the Western powers would only use him and throw him away like trash. Left with absolutely no other options to defend his country, he turned to the Soviet Union and Communist China for heavy backup, officially embracing communist ideology. Fast forward 20 years to 1965. The United States officially sends over 500,000 American troops into the burning jungles of Vietnam to stop the spread of that very same communism. And guess who was waiting for them in the dark bushes, tunnels, and shadows? The exact same guerrilla fighters they had armed years before, using the exact same ambush tactics, the exact same deadly trap designs, and the exact same jungle camouflage strategies that the American Deer Team had perfectly taught them back in 1945. America spent millions of dollars creating a flawless, deadly trap in the jungle, only to walk right into it 2 decades later, losing over 58,000 young American lives and suffering a humiliating defeat. It remains, without a single doubt, the biggest, most ironic, and most painful tactical mistake in human history.